Japan is a land of rich history, breathtaking landscapes, and chilling ghost stories. From haunted forests to cursed tunnels, spirits and legends lurk in the shadows of the past. If you're a fan of the paranormal, you won't want to miss this. Today, we're diving into the 5 most haunted places in Japan. Places so eerie, they might just send shivers down your spine. Are you ready? Let's begin. Inunaki Tunnel, Fukuoka. Hidden deep in the mountains of Fukuoka Prefecture lies the infamous Inunaki Tunnel. It's said that if you enter, you may never come back, or worse, something follows you home. The tunnel is linked to countless urban legends, gruesome murders, disappearances, and ghostly apparitions. But this isn't just a ghost story. This place has a bloody history, one that seeps through its damp, rotting walls. One of the most horrifying incidents tied to the tunnel happened in 1988. A young man was dragged into the tunnel by a group of acquaintances. They beat him, tortured him, burned his body, and left him for dead. His screams were swallowed by the tunnel's suffocating darkness. His remains were found later, charred and unrecognizable. And ever since that night, visitors report hearing blood-curdling screams echoing from the depths of the tunnel, even when no one is there. But the tunnel is only part of the horror. Just beyond it, shrouded in mist and hidden from maps, is the legendary Inunaki village. A place where it is said that Japanese law does not apply. A place where the dead outnumber the living. Some claim it was once a thriving settlement, until an unspeakable massacre took place. An entire village erased overnight. Today, those who seek it out find only decay. But if you listen closely, the air is thick with whispers calling your name. Many who visit the tunnel report feeling an unbearable presence, as if something unseen is watching. Phones and cameras glitch. Batteries drain instantly. Some even claim they've seen a dark figure lurking at the tunnel's entrance, only for it to disappear when they turn away. A man once said he saw a woman standing inside the tunnel, motionless. He called out to her, but she didn't respond. He stepped closer, and her face twisted into something inhuman. He ran, but even after he left the tunnel, he could still hear her footsteps following him. If you ever make it to Inunaki Tunnel, you'll notice the signs. Warnings telling you not to enter. Not because the tunnel is unstable, but because those who go in don't always come out. Do you feel that? The chill on the back of your neck? The weight in the air? Some say that even watching videos about Inunaki Tunnel invites its curse into your home. You may hear faint whispers when you're alone, or see something shift in the corner of your eye. So, before you sleep tonight, make sure you're really alone. Himeji Castle, Hyogo. The most infamous tale of Himeji Castle is that of Okiku, a servant accused of betrayal and punished in the most horrific way imaginable. The lord of the castle owned a set of 10 exquisite plates. One night, one of them vanished. Okiku was blamed, though she was innocent. Her punishment? Unforgivable. They say she was beaten mercilessly, tortured for a crime she did not commit. Then, she was thrown into the castle's well, left to drown in the cold, black water. Her restless spirit still lingers. Every night, she counts 1 to 9, but the 10th plate never comes. And when she stops counting, she screams the sound so blood-curdling that those who hear it are said to go mad. But Okiku is not the only soul left behind in agony. There is another, a wandering samurai, forever seeking revenge. During the Edo period, a ruthless samurai was betrayed by his own lord. His death was gruesome. Stabbed through the throat, his body left to rot within the castle walls. Visitors have reported seeing him, an armored warrior, his face obscured, watching. Some say he moves when you turn away. Others say he waits until you are alone. The architecture of Himeji Castle is mesmerizing, but its true purpose was far more sinister. The halls are deliberately confusing, built to trap invaders. Those who entered without knowledge never found their way out. People say if you take a wrong turn, you might never leave. The spirits of lost souls wander here, waiting for new victims to join them. Some hear their footsteps, others feel cold hands brushing their skin. But the most terrifying part of Himeji Castle is the silence. The kind of silence that breathes, that watches, that waits. Guards have reported seeing something. Figures standing in the moonlight, faceless, featureless, unmoving. They do not chase. They do not whisper. They simply exist. By day, Himeji Castle is a breathtaking vision of history. By night, it is something else entirely. If you ever visit, listen closely. Watch the armor. Count to 9. And whatever you do, don't stop to stare at the silent ones. Camp Hansen's Gate 3, Okinawa. To the Marines stationed here, Gate 3 is just another checkpoint. But for those who have spent long nights on duty, they know better. The stories are whispered in the barracks, shared in hushed voices over drinks and laughed off until it happens to you. The legend of Camp Hansen's Gate 3 isn't just a ghost story. It's a warning. The most chilling story tied to Gate 3 is the Phantom Marine, a soldier who shouldn't exist. He appears late at night, dressed in a full Marine Corps uniform, pristine but off. His helmet is outdated, his boots scuffed from battles long forgotten. He walks up to the sentry, silent at first, then with a voice that sounds distorted, hollow. He asks for a light, as if searching for a cigarette. But when the guard looks closer, the man's uniform is damp, stained, and there's a deep wound in his chest, black and oozing, as if he's been shot recently. The stories say if you give him a light, he disappears. But if you refuse, he just stands there, watching, unmoving, until you look away. The official explanation? There is none. Some say it's the spirit of a Marine killed in the Battle of Okinawa. Others believe it's an omen, a sign that something terrible is coming. What makes this legend more terrifying is that it's not just a story. Gate 3 isn't the only haunted place on Camp Hansen. During the Battle of Okinawa in 1945, thousands of soldiers, American and Japanese, were slaughtered here. Their bodies lost in the mud, their souls left to wander, and some say the jungle itself is cursed. Marines stationed at Hansen have reported hearing voices in the trees, not in English but in Japanese. Some say they've seen figures in the brush, moving unnaturally fast, only to vanish when approached. And then there's the barracks themselves. Room 3rd floor, building 210, infamous among Marines. A place where sleep paralysis is common, where figures loom in the dark corners, and where the shadowy hand has been seen reaching from beneath the beds. What's behind the horrors of Camp Hansen? Paranormal experts have different theories. Some believe it's residual energy, the agony of war imprinted on the land itself, replaying over and over. Others think the spirits are intelligent, aware, trapped between worlds. Okinawan shamans have long warned of restless spirits here. Some Marines have even sought exorcisms after strange encounters, desperate to rid themselves of something that followed them home. But the strangest thing? Some of the reports aren't from Marines, but from locals who say they've seen the Phantom Marine too. Oiwa Shrine, Tokyo. To understand the horror of Oiwa Shrine, we must go back nearly 400 years to the Edo period. Oiwa was a beautiful, devoted wife married to a man named Tamiya Aiman, a samurai fallen from grace. But love, as it often does in ghost stories, turned to treachery. Aiman, craving power and wealth, sought to rid himself of Oiwa. He poisoned her slowly, cruelly, watching as her once lovely face became grotesquely disfigured. Her skin blistered, her eye drooped, her body withered under the effects of the slow-working toxin. But what he hadn't anticipated was her rage. Oiwa died in agony, but her suffering did not end in death. It transformed her into something far worse. The night she died, Iman thought he was finally free. But then, the hauntings began. Iman saw her everywhere, in the lantern light, in his own reflection. Her face, twisted in pain, would appear in place of his new bride's. He struck her down in a frenzy, only to find he had murdered his own wife. Oiwa's vengeance did not stop there. One by one, those who conspired against her met gruesome fates, some driven mad, others mysteriously vanishing, their bodies never found. The legend of Oiwa became one of Japan's most feared ghost stories, inspiring countless plays and films. But what many don't realize is that her story does not end in fiction. The curse is real. In a quiet, unassuming part of Tokyo, hidden among modern buildings, lies Oiwa's shrine. Built to appease her restless spirit, the shrine stands as a chilling reminder of her undying wrath. People come here not to worship, but to beg for mercy. Locals whisper that disturbing things happen to those who disrespect this site. Cameras malfunction. Visitors feel unseen hands pressing against their backs, and some report hearing a woman's voice whispering their names. Filmmakers who have tried to adapt Oiwa's tale into movies have suffered misfortunes, accidents, deaths, bizarre incidents. Some refuse to say her name aloud. Even actors in ghost plays will visit the shrine first to ask for her permission. Many have claimed to encounter her spirit. Skeptics, tourists, even priests. A man who mocked the curse reportedly saw Oiwa's reflection in his hotel mirror that night, only to wake up with deep scratches across his arms. Another visitor laughed at the warnings and took a stone from the shrine as a souvenir. Days later, he returned it shaken, claiming he was tormented by nightmares of a woman crawling toward him, her rotting face twisted in agony. Even those who watch videos about Oiwa's curse claim to hear faint whispers through their headphones. Some say she follows them home. Oiwa's rage is eternal, her suffering never forgotten. If you ever find yourself in Tokyo and you stumble upon an old, quiet shrine, think twice before disrespecting it, because in the dark corners of this city, some ghosts never rest.
Aokigahara Forest, the Sea of Trees. Welcome to Aokigahara Forest, a place cloaked in mystery, folklore, and shadowed by an unsettling reputation. Known as the Sea of Trees, this forest lies at the base of Japan's Mount Fuji, a picturesque landscape with a dark, haunting history. Tonight, we explore the legends, the tragedies, and the secrets buried deep within its twisted roots. Aokigahara is unlike any other forest in the world. Formed over hardened lava from Mount Fuji's eruption more than 1,000 years ago, its soil is rich with volcanic rock. This unique terrain absorbs sound, creating an eerie silence that many describe as deafening. Here, your footsteps are muffled, and the whispers of the trees seem to echo endlessly. Even compasses falter here. The volcanic iron in the ground interferes with navigation tools, making it easy to lose your way. This disorienting nature, combined with its isolated beauty, has drawn countless visitors, for better or for worse. But Aokigahara is more than just a natural wonder. It's infamous as one of the world's most notorious suicide sites, often called the Suicide Forest. Each year, dozens of people come here to end their lives, drawn by the forest's eerie solitude. Local legends speak of urei, restless spirits that haunt Aokigahara. These ghostly figures are said to wander the forest, tethered by unresolved pain or vengeance. Some hikers have reported hearing faint cries or footsteps behind them, only to turn and find nothing. Centuries ago, during times of famine, some families reportedly practiced abasut, the abandonment of elderly relatives in remote locations. It's said their spirits linger here, their sorrow woven into the very fabric of the forest. Ribbons like these are often left behind by those who enter, hoping they'll guide them back out. But not everyone ties one, or intends to return.
And there you have it, 5 of the most haunted places in Japan. Would you dare visit any of these? Or maybe you've already had a ghostly encounter of your own. Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and watch out for what lurks in the dark.